guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Monette and this is my channel Evolve with Monette. I am so happy to have you joining me today. I am a professional intuitive empath. I am an artist, an author, a chef, and an all-around life path creative, and I'm so glad to be sharing some energy with you today. Guys, what I want to get into is the title of the video, which is about the one thing that all narcissists have in common. Now, I feel like if you are entering into a narcissistic relationship, I don't know if you're doing that cognitively. Obviously, we get into it because we're love bombed and get pulled in and we don't realize what is happening. But if you are in it, the thing that they all have in common is entitlement. Now, there are many traits that they have in common, and throughout this channel, we will expound and take a deep dive into those things. But the thing that I notice that if you can catch this early, you can maybe save yourself a lot of grief. For the survivors of narcissistic abuse or interaction, I'm sure, please comment down below. You can agree that you understand that. What entitlement looks like. Now, we all would like to believe we can have things or that someone would give us something. This is not about a particular thing that is wanted, though it may manifest that way. This is about a feeling that they deserve to have rights to your space, your energy, your time, and your attention. It will first manifest in very seemingly benign ways where they don't like to stand in line. Specifically with my narcissist, one of the main, more impactful narcissists, I shall say, she, when I met her, told me, I don't like to stand on cue. I don't like to stand on cue. She was from a northern state. I won't go too deeply, but she was from a northern state, and there were a lot of clubbing activities, and she was like, I just don't like to stand on queue. I don't like to wait in line. And I remember going into the store with her, and she decided she wanted to wear her socks in. Now, you guys may be watching this thinking, she's just clearly mentally ill, and you missed all the signs, Monette. Yes, that is correct. But at the time, as an empath and an artist, you have to understand, I'm all about breaking a rule or two. I'm all about having looser boundaries, right? That was until I really started to get into my work, and then everything was super regimented and super boundary filled because it was the only way I could thrive in health. But at the time, and you think about when you go back to your not so evolved self, guys, when you first get love bombed or seen by the narcissist and you think, oh, this person gets me. No, what they want is to be able to plug into you and extract energy. There is a video coming up here shortly that I will either link in below or link this one into it about energy vampires and narcissists. So we'll go deeper into that. But back to the entitlement. She felt like no shoes, no shirt, no service didn't apply to her. She could walk into a store with her socks on. She could dance in a store and be loud and bother other clients. When she had her children in restaurants, they could behave in what I would consider very unacceptable and atrocious ways. Now listen, we all have kids. We all have that situation where like our kid does a thing and we're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe my kid did that thing. I completely understand that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being in other people's spaces, throwing things without being reprimanded. In fact, if her child did something that was egregious, she would get into a fight. I remember one distinct time having her come to me. We were supposed to meet up for dinner, and she was late, and I was there waiting with her husband, and she pulls in with her child, and she tells us all about, just regales us all about how she got into a fight at the Walmart with somebody there because her child ran over their foot on the scooter. You know how at Walmart there's a children's section and there are toys and you can just scoot and sample some of the toys, as all kids do. Well, he took the scooter from the toy section all the way down to the produce section. Parents out there watching, is that something you would allow your child to do? Absolutely not. Maybe they could ride it in that aisle of the toy section. Maybe they could have a few minutes doing that, but they could not literally take a few laps around the Walmart without your stern guidance that that's not appropriate. Well, he's ridden it over to the produce section and he rides over someone's foot and the guy reprimands him. It's like, oh, guy, watch out, little guy. You can't do that. You're going to knock over these vegetables. You ran over my foot. And she proceeded to get into a full-out brawl with him. And I don't mean physically. I just mean a whole interaction emotionally, heightened energy, then pulling into the managers, and then talking about suing the store, a whole shenanigan over something that she knew she wasn't supposed to do, that she passed down her entitlement to her child and didn't set any boundaries for him. And that served and will serve as much of an issue in that child's life, so sadly, because of having a narcissistic mother. That is one example of many that I could give you of her entitlement. She came to us telling us how her night was ruined because she didn't want to parent. Instead, she wanted to fight. And she felt like she deserved to have that. In jobs, she deserved to come in when she wanted to. In other situations, she deserved to have whatever she wanted. She deserved to do it, and there were no rules that applied. If you have a narcissistic interaction, if you have a narcissistic relationship and you're paying attention to that, that level of entitlement is pervasive in all things that narcissists do. They are entitled to have the coffee first, if that's the case. There's no grace, there's no kindness in them. They are only mirroring human energy because they're not considerate, kind people. That is not who they are. And as an empath, you'll make a million excuses for it. I did. It's quirky. It's unique. She's an artist under the surface. She just has her own free way. She's kooky. I made all kinds of excuses for her. Empaths, do y'all relate to that? You know how good we are at excusing other people's behavior. I made all those excuses for her, and at the end of the day, what it boiled down to was she was just entitled. She was just rude and beyond inconsiderate and entitled. And we can ascribe those words to her, but because she and narcissists do not live in that space of abiding social norms, that meant nothing to her when I would try to call her out. Have you ever tried to call out your narcissist? If they are deeply entitled, like every narcissist is, they will never hear you. Those words just whiz by their ears and they absolutely disregard it. So save yourself some trouble if you can. And head off that entitlement at the pass. Anyone who is entitled. The only people I tolerate entitlement from are little people who have not fully yet been incorporated into our social norms. They are the only ones. And even then, as a previous teacher of little ones, I will still hold them accountable for their behavior. You cannot, however, hold a narcissist accountable for their behavior. You cannot teach them about social norms. They are fully formed adults that are void of a very important parasympathetic nerve and energy. While they have it, I feel like it's somehow numb for them. And they're walking around with these pain bodies. If you've read Eckhart Tolle, that will be something else coming up in the next video about narcissists and empaths and energy vampires, specifically energy vampires. The pain body means that they are always spoiling and looking for something, some kind of engagement and exchange of unhealthy energy, and they feel entitled to demand that from you and anything else they can get their grubby little narcissistic hands on. So if you notice entitlement in a new friend or a new lover or someone in your life, pay attention for some of the other red flags, which we will talk about in upcoming videos, because you may just save yourself years of toxicity and abuse at the hands of a full-blown narcissist. I'm so glad we got a chance to share some energy today, guys. I want you to come back and we will continue to evolve together.